This is Tom and Paula Graves from Light of Christ Radio with a story from the Gospel of Mark.
You're welcome to watch this video simply for the story, or you can use it as the basis of a small group study.
Instructions for the small group study can be found below this video in the Show More section.
Today, we continue our series in Mark with the story of the one Jesus didn't save, from Mark 15.
Well, Paula, as we set the context of our story, Jesus had celebrated the Passover meal with his disciples and told them that one of them would betray him and all of them would desert him.
And after supper, they all, except Judas, go to the Mount of Olives. There, Jesus prays for God's will to be done as he prepares himself for what is ahead.
And even though Jesus asks the disciples to pray for him, they fall asleep. It's there that Judas turns over Jesus to the Jewish leadership.
Now, they take Jesus in front of the whole Jewish council. They meet during the night and accuse Jesus of blasphemy, a charge with the death penalty.
But only the Romans can carry out the death penalty, and so the Jewish leadership takes Jesus to Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor.
Now, Pilate can't find anything wrong with Jesus, but to prevent a riot, he gives orders for Jesus to be crucified. And this brings us to a story from the Word of God.
A man named Simon, who was from Cyrene, was coming in from the countryside just then, and the soldiers forced him to carry Jesus' cross. Simon was the father of Alexander and Rufus.
And they brought Jesus to a place called Golgotha, which means place of the skull. They offered him wine drugged with myrrh, but he refused it. Then the soldiers nailed him to the cross. They divided his clothes and threw dice to decide who would get each piece.
It was 9 o'clock in the morning when they crucified him. A sign announced a charge against him. It read, "The King of the Jews." 2 revolutionaries were crucified with him, one on his right and one on his left.
The people passing by shouted abuse, shaking their heads in mockery. "Ha! Look at you now," they yelled at him. "You said you were going to destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days. Well, then save yourself and come down from the cross."
The leading priests and teachers of the religious law also mocked Jesus. He saved others, they scoffed, but he can't save himself. Let this Messiah, this King of Israel, come down from the cross so we can see it and believe him.
Even the men who were crucified with Jesus ridiculed him. At noon, darkness fell across the whole land until 3 o'clock. Then, at 3 o'clock, Jesus called out with a loud voice,
"Eloi, Eloi, lema sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you abandoned me?"
Some of the bystanders misunderstood and thought he was calling for the prophet Elijah. One of them ran and filled a sponge with sour wine, holding it up to him on a reed stick so he could drink. "Wait," he said, "let's see whether Elijah comes to take him down."
Then Jesus uttered another loud cry and breathed his last, and the curtain in the sanctuary of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom.
When the Roman officer who stood facing him saw how he had died, he exclaimed, "This man truly was the Son of God."
Some women were there watching from a distance, including Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of James the Younger, and of Joseph and Salome. They had been followers of Jesus and had cared for him while he was in Galilee.
Many other women who had come with him to Jerusalem were also there, and this is a story from the Word of God.
If you're using this video for a small group application, after you have watched this video, try retelling the story from what you heard.
Then read the text. Discussion questions are below in the Show More section.
May this story help you on your journey of life.
Be blessed.